So what I have learned to be my best defense as a woman, a black woman, Native American woman, lesbian woman, homeless woman, my life matters. I count just like any and everybody else. And it's weird that, yeah, hold on, let me fix me up. I can say it's weird. It's actually shameful that I have to be telling people that when I call the police, they don't want to respond. The first thing they hear is what they call an accent. No, darling, it's called dialect. And I have to point out a lot of you folks, especially white people, that when you ask me where I'm from and I tell you I'm Native American, they say, but you have an accent. I say, because you're a pilgrim. All Native American tribes have what we call a dialect. So do you really think that English is our first language? No. Do you really think that the way that you talk is the proper way? No, it's not. So I have to break that down to people so they understand that number one, native, you can look at me and tell, darling. And just like in the islands, in Jamaica, in Cuba, Puerto Rico, Haiti, all these places, we're West Indian. That means we come from the west coast of India. And you have to look at the people from India. Why are they brown, dark brown most of the time? Light brown too, but when I try and break it down, everybody's a shade of brown, except white people. And you have nerve, because most of the people I find always trying to tell somebody where to go, what to do, is white people. And I'm like, y'all are not from California. Y'all are not from America. You're not even from England. So where you get off telling people where to go, what this, all this shit. And believe me, it happens everywhere. They try to walk in my way. They try to overtalk me. They try to cut me off, all this shit. And they get mad because I don't act the way that they're expecting me to act. Nope, they're the ignorant ones. They're the ones that come from the ghetto. That is a fact. Look up the term ghetto. It describes dirty Jews in Germany, in Ireland, in England, all around, living in slums. And you need to look up the fact that England, Germany, Ireland, all have had what we call the Moors, black queens running the show, black people running the show. Just like the state of California is named after the black Moorish queen, Queen Khalifa. California, just like the Hindu goddess, Kali, the dark one, the black one. So I like, what the fuck is going on that these people, oh yeah, you know, I made this video too because you have cars that like to stop and harass me and follow me around. So I had to make sure that wasn't one of them. Oh yeah, they love to pull up. Now can you imagine me? Look at my shopping cart. I be having sometimes I have stuff with me, sometimes I don't. It doesn't matter. I can't even sit at a bus stop without getting peace. These idiots. So back to what me saying. So it seemed like whenever a white person calls the police, the response is immediate. And they're there to help Barbie. They call it white woman tears. As soon as the white woman start crying, everybody like, oh, let's help her. Half the 99% of the time, that's the person doing all the shit. You know, remember how back in the day, a white woman cried that somebody touched them, and they call it rape. Or somebody raped them, and it makes it bad for the people who have actually been molested and raped, because your ass is lying. Oh, and let's just clear up the fact that when I have to call, I have to change my voice so they fucking come. And then they're shocked when they come and they say, you're not white. No, fucking not. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But I got enough proof to show everyone. All these police reports, it takes hours for the police to respond if they come. In fact, they're hoping maybe that you get killed, I suppose. I don't know. Because explain. Why is it that when I called the police on Melissa Hop several times about them human trafficking, they let that tranny roommate move in with me. And see, the thing is, before you move in a shelter, they want to know your so-called story, your narrative, your background. And what I have found that they do, and I can prove it in this instance, they will use your background against you. It's called satanic ritual abuse. It's when they perform rituals on you of abuse. See, these idiots don't have no damn magic. So all the sacrificing and piss drinking and shit eating they doing is all in vain, dummies. You know. But what is real is the torture and abuse. Because the adrenochrome, I know maybe I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. They get a high of creating fear. Just like dogs, they say dog can smell fear. They get a high of that because it actually, it's like your neurotransmitters. Think of a neurotransmitter. What is it transmitting? If you think your body is just water and skin and bones, you're sadly mistaken. You're actually a computer, if you think of it, because you have nerve, you have a central nervous system, you have a brain, you have all these different systems that rely upon each other, like a computer. So it's kind of like this, your brain is your CPU. And if people can damage your CPU, if people can create alter egos by shattering the true personality of who you are, then it's just like a computer. You have put a virus like coronavirus out there where it's dismantling and breaking apart a person's life, you know. And the sad part about that is most people don't wake up. I say, why you think your brain has alpha, beta, and I believe delta waves? You have rapid eye movement sleep, REM 2. Many of the clones and mannequins that you see are all REM 2 activated. That means they're activated at the cloning center with a radio frequency identification device. Now, you haven't noticed most of the police is already dead and cloned. Most of the military dead and cloned. Most of all you are dead and cloned with my DNA. So you can't read my mind. You're not telepathic. Actually, I can read yours. That's how I know who has my DNA, you see. Because you ever have a thought and then someone comes up to you and tries to act like, and I've had these white people even come to, and black people too, everybody try to tell me they can read my mind. I said, no, darling, you cannot. It's the other way around. See, you are made from my DNA, which is how you are able to communicate with me. It's called conscience. Just like Microsoft can clone code, well, what they do, they want to steal you. They want to steal your conscience. They want to steal you. You ever watch the movie Get Out? It's true, except for the fact the hypnosis that they're talking about, that shit's not real. What they're doing is trying to create a fear. If you think someone can control your mind, then you'll be afraid of them, right? And really, did you notice how the guy snapped out of it when the picture was taken? Exactly, because what they do is they do stuff to distract you. And just like when the police, when they meet with me, they're always doing the hand signs, the gestures and shit to distract me from reporting the crime. So this is what demons do, because demons are what you consider electrical currents. I would know I'm the queen of demons, darling. Queen of demons and angels, you understand me? I rule heaven and hell. And so the issue that I'm trying to explain to y'all is that when you think people are reading your mind, they're not. They don't have that power. All they're doing is simply, if you have a radio frequency identification device, they have chip readers. Why do you think they make these RFID wallets? Because all of our banking, most of it, now has the RFID chip. Your cable box, whether from Comcast, Cox, anyone, it has an RFID chip. Nissan programming has been watching your programming, watching you in your house for the longest. And people don't want to wake up. Like you have the iPhone. They call it iPhone, like I have Horus, I have Ra. That shit watching you. All our devices, Android as well. Most of these mannequins that you see, these robot toys, they're clones. They ain't nothing but androids, walking androids. And I know you're like, how you know? Well, it's not hard to figure this out. Because if you realize that, you know, they've been spying and surveilling them, everybody, everywhere. San Diego has all these damn cameras. But why the fuck they can't solve no crime? Exactly. Because the people who put the cameras in here for the smart city did not tell people. It's actually for the police. Yeah, just like when I was in DC and they put an ankle monitor on me to make sure I come to trial, which I did and I won. They don't tell you that the police That's how they track you. Because anytime I will come within 6 feet of a police officer, their monitor went off about my box. In fact, the box listens to you, records you. And isn't this against the law? You know? And they have a contract for that. In fact, they gave me an even bigger box, you know. And I didn't care because guess what? It showed everywhere I went and everything that happened to me. Yet I'm still having these issues of being gang stalked. Well, let me break it down to you about cloning. It's called predictive programming, darlings. And this here means that they're not psychic, they do not have magic, they cannot see the future, any of this shit. Because if you notice, what does Illuminati do? The fake Illuminati, that is. They sit around making their plans and agendas and they broadcast it. Just look up the Illuminati card game. Just look at the card game Crimes Against Humanity. You know, and you can see they're evil, they're pieces of shit. And they brag about what they do, they mock us. Anytime you have people that come out and say that they're telling you the truth and they're asking for money and they want you to buy their merchandise, that should be your first indication right there that these people are liars. They're only out for selfish gain. That's it, that's all. You know, and I'm gonna expose them. So let's go at number one. Not number one, really number two, piece of shit hole. A call for an uprising. Now how is it that this guy, hold on, I gotta cross the street, y'all. Safety first. Safety first. Alright, so how is it that this guy called for uprising? Seems to have all this information so fast about what Illuminati is up to. Because he's Illuminati. And I found the videos that somebody put, because why we have to buy your merchandise? Why, you notice every YouTuber, they say, hit that bell for notification, hit the subscribe button. They want to be worshipped. They want you to look at them as a spiritual leader. And it's a shame, because it's just like the church. The church is fake as hell, Jesus fake as hell, all this dumb shit. And they're using this information to put fear in you and to make you think they have your best interest. But really, they're just tricking you, distracting you, lying to you, all in the name of Jesus. Come on now, wake the fuck up. No white man died for anyone. They can't even take care of themselves. So you take some white man so holy and pious, decide to get on a cross and die for everyone? So my question is, and I always ask people, why is it that you really would believe Jesus is white? When even in the Bible, it says the Messiah has hair like wool, brown copper skin. Because copper-painted people are the Native Americans, darling. That is a fact. Hold on, across the street. All right. That is a fact. Okay, so back to what Miss said. So here I am. I'm at Liberty Station, y'all, where I used to work. Notice what they say here? It says, warning, restrict the area, U.S. government property. This area is patrolled by military walking dogs. Really? So, I like to know, why is it that I slept outside Liberty Station for many months, in the rain, in the heat, in the cold, sometimes even without a blanket. And all I kept getting was harassed, strange men coming up to me, especially white men, in their cars, waking me up on the street, harassing me, starting shit. In fact, I had one white guy told me he was gonna take my spot, me sleeping right there. Now, I sleep at a military base. Why? Because the military here. That means somebody stationed here, somebody should help me, I'm a civilian. Because I'm not in the military anymore. They told me they don't want me in the military because I'm gay. So I left. They told me I couldn't be in the military, I couldn't wear my hair naturally, so I left. And when they told me I was gonna have to turn a blind eye to human traffickers, I left. And I went to the police. And nobody do damn thing. So you look at Camp Pendleton, look at them sexual harassment cases. You look at the military, one of the most covert places. And the military is supposed to be under the commander-in-chief. So I have a serious issue with, this is 4th of July. But America is not free. No. America is still under the British crown, darlings. When they tell you that we have our freedom, they're lying. Now look at all this damn trash. Hold on, let me show you. This is a military base, y'all. Look at all this mold. Mold. You mean people have to be living in mold? People have to have all this damn trash? This is disgusting. And you know who be doing this shit? The homeless. The homeless. Yes, I'm telling you the truth about the homeless. Hold on, my stuff dropped. I have to pick it up. The homeless. And do you know who they get paid by? Because many of the homeless are in gang. Many of the homeless providers are gang members. I know the tattoos. They tell you they just got out of jail. Now I've been in jail before. That's how I can recognize all of them. And this is why they get mad. Because I see the gang hand sign. I see the gang initiation. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my cart together. I want to show you how I live. That's it. Yeah. All right. Oh, cemetery pad. You know, you have so many trannies trying to pretend to be women. Ask them, show you their bloody card. They ain't got one, because they ain't got a pussy. They don't have a uterus. They don't have no lost shit. They just trannies, men who want to be women. So look at all this trash. It's dirty and disgusting. So who do the homeless work for? The police. Because think of it like this. Who can the police bribe and pay with a few funky dollars and probably with some damn drugs they stole? Oh, you didn't hear the story about San Diego police officer? Many of them stole the damn drugs, stole everything from crime scene, just like they do in LA, Chicago, Baltimore, DC. You know, don't be surprised, darling. And just like I already caught the fact that Mayor Kevin Faulconer, he has been given millions of dollars from the Geo Group under the sham charity, Say Yes to a Better San Diego. That should be illegal. And you know, Geo Group, I was in their jail, the Western Regional Detention Facility, 2 times. So I know all about the horror, the abuse, the rape, the Nazis, the gang tattoos. Because why would you expect to see officers with gang tattoos? Just like why would you expect to see military with gang tattoos? Now you're like, well, people deserve a second chance. I'm a returning citizen, I know all about it. But what I know is that most of the people getting a second chance don't deserve it. The ones like myself, who are clean, who are sane, who are decent, respectful. And I never join no gang, I always stand up to the gangs. We ain't getting shit but harassed, stopped, trying to intimidate me, trying to set me up for rape. You don't think it was a serious thing when I caught the convention center men, the maintenance men in the woman bathroom on several occasions, and they weren't supposed to be? Just like when I did bust them for that shit, Ernie at Alpha Project told me to go use the men bathroom and told me he gonna close it down. But here they made no announcement, he didn't close it down, he didn't do shit. So this means just like jail, you're sending me in the bathroom to be raped. Just like this maintenance man, what do they do in the bathroom with women? They're not supposed to at all. And I busted them because they didn't even shut it down properly. I should have took the camera and made video. But all that, you know, I did make some video. Because you have to use safety. Every time when I pull out my phone, that's when they want to gang up on me. Those Alpha Project staff, Nate, the Spanish guy, tried to literally fight with me. But I not back down. That's why they got afraid. See, hold on. I'm gonna show you how gangland shit work. I'm gonna tell you about that shit. Most of the time the gang leader are supposed to be protected. And most of the time the gang leader piece of shit whore. Because they paying people to handle their business for them. They can't do it themselves. And half the time people think, well, if you're in a gang, you have to do whatever the leader say. No. Because first of all, why are you in a brainwashing cult for one? This for now your family. I'll show you do crime together. But that's just so they can blackmail you, dummy. That's so that way they can keep your ass where the fuck they have you, working for them. And they never want you to get your freedom because they buy into it. They get the tattoos to show their loyalty. You already know about the initiation that they have to do. Blood in, blood out. They either get jumped in, get jumped out. They either get sexed in or get sexed out. So, in jail, I had all the gangs. Nazi lowriders. Hold on, let me tell you all the names. Because the same idiots I see at the fucking shelters. Same idiots I see on the street, and I'm doing better than them. You have the DC blocks. You have the Nazi lowriders. You have the Bloods. You have the Crips. You have the Mexican Mafia. I was in jail with everyone. And you can't find one gang member from any of these gangs. And a lot of the staff that work there are in the gangs too, darling. I tell you, I know the tattoos. I've even seen where one inmate go and put on a fucking officer uniform. And you see them the next day and everybody's like, oh no, they're just twins. Or no, they just look alike. Oh, you're crazy. Bull fucking shit. Bull fucking shit. And it's true human cloning that they change identity. It's through human cloning that they can make it think they are a different sex, a different color, a whole nine. And people have to wake up. That's why they don't want to make cloning. Because all the presidents, all the politicians are all dead and cloned, darling. That's why they're robots. They don't know shit, can you tell? Mark Zuckerberg can't even answer questions on a congressional hearing about Facebook, how it operates. That's because Mark Zuckerberg is not the real owner of Facebook. Look it up, he stole the idea in college. Just like Bill Gates did not create the first computer. As a black woman, and he stole that in college. And you look at all this shit. So back to these white women calling the police on me all the goddamn time. So I don't know, they're not the only one. You know who also like to call the police on me? Black men. Black men when I reject their ass, because I don't like men, period. And just because I'm black don't mean I have to like you. And so let's get back to the first white woman crime. See, this is why I had to change my voice out. When I call the police, they don't know it's me. And they come so damn fast when they don't know it's me. Boy, y'all should see their face when they see it's me. So I'm about to pull off, set this bus stop, smoke, and tell y'all this shit here. Okay. Okay. Whew, it's hot, y'all. So I'm at where I used to work when I was a Marine in a past life. You see, we all been here before, darling. We've all been here before, past life. Which is how I recognize all the demons, all the spirits, the nasty houses. That's how I recognize them. Alright. Let's see here. We're going to go the loop-de-loop way. So here I am. And let me tell you what I know they've been doing. Harassing folk. So Grace Elizabeth Reedy decides to call protective services after this bitch harassed me for years. Like they did everyone. And I had to resign under duress. So you would think this happened in 2010 that I won my first suit against the U.S. Department of Transportation for hostile work environment based off national origin. And that Grace Elizabeth Reedy was 100% responsible. What I did not at the time, Carolyn Bone was also sabotaging me. Ever since I was 15, ever since I was at the National Center for Children and Family in Bethesda, Maryland. Because Carolyn kept trying to pit me out like she do to a lot of young girls. She claims she's going to help. You know, you meet these people in foster care You have to think, what is a pre-child worker having to work another job at a shelter for? So they can meet young girls and recruit them. That's why. So they can meet the young girl and recruit them. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, so why is it that this person was at the National Center for Children and Family, right? Why is it that this person then followed me to their independent living program? Yes, they did. They followed me to the independent living program called the Green Tree Adolescent Program, independent living. They're making the females, me, the only one that they had there, live in an apartment with the staff. You know how awkward that is when most of the staff are men? You know how awkward was it at Baptist Center? Most of the staff are men. And so I live there, go Catholic charities. So I get my own apartment. But I still see her car and still stay in my life. I tell you she a good person. Not a good person at all. None. And this is the person I've been lying on me all these fucking years. I never had a drug issue. Selling drugs and doing drugs, two different things. And I never used drugs. And I only saw drug teenager to get away from human traffickers, get away from gangs. Not gonna be down with that shit. That's why on the street I not have problem with gangs, because most people remember me and how I hustle and survive. Alright. So now I gotta go over there, okay. So I made that video to show y'all that. Yeah, I made that video to show y'all that. So, and like, how you gonna show us all that? Easy, I'm telling y'all the truth. Something some people can't do if you pay them. See, nobody paid me to tell y'all the truth. Nobody has to. I don't need it. I just want the money that all these human traffickers stole from me. I want my ID back. I want my life back. I want my freedom back. So they had to explain what was. Hold on, I gotta lift my card up, y'all. Okay, so yeah, it's not easy, but I make it work. So I have to explain just what was Cynthia Curry of DC MPD police doing in Baltimore at the Beans and Bread homeless soup kitchen. And what was Baltimore police doing at the same soup kitchen? Because there wasn't any warrant out for my arrest. I hadn't been convicted or accused of any crime. And they're going down. And on top of that, they don't have jurisdiction. DC police. So I go under this tree, I could tell you all the story. Hold on, y'all. See, I'm moving my stuff. Okay. I'll take a break. That's some hard work there. Alright, so DC police do not have jurisdiction in Maryland, vice versa. And they know this shit. But they didn't think that I would know this shit. And so that's why at trial, it took years. Because first of all, I should never have been sent to, where did they first send me? It's many years ago. So, back to what I said, 402 South Bond Street. I had Baltimore police and DC police interrogate me, harass me, detain me, which all violated my constitutional rights. You didn't have a search warrant, you didn't have jurisdiction, you didn't have probable cause. And you didn't have any way of identifying me. Because here's the thing. If you ever notice, police are not allowed inside shelters unless they have a warrant or they are calling. They have been called. That's it. No police could call harassment otherwise. They can't just walk up in a shelter and say, hey, which I honestly feel that they should. We want to check for warrants. Because that's where most warrant people are homeless. I would know I have many warrants. And at that time, I never had a warrant. I never had any contact with the police. Because I stay out of trouble. And I only call the police when I need them. And whenever I call the police, they don't do shit. So how did Cynthia Curry, who aka related to Carolyn Curry, probably the same fucking person, know where I was? Know where to come contact me at? Because they tracked my GPS location. They stalked me. They like me said. And when they got to Beans and Bread, the first thing Beans and Bread should have told them, excuse me, we have confidentiality here, so you cannot just come up in here and harass this woman. But they did not do that. Because they would have had to show a warrant for my arrest, and then they would have had to been able to pick me out. So that is why MPD, you can look it up, they had to drop 3 of the charges, because Kathy Lanier ain't nobody but Carolyn Curry playing a role. Kathy Lanier is a robot, y'all, just like Shelly Zimmerman in San Diego, who look just like Kathy Lanier, is a fucking robot, y'all. Wake up. So Carolyn Curry, first her name was Carolyn Bowen for so many years, then she changed the name to Carolyn Curry. And so the Cynthia Curry lied, got sexual harassment money from the police, because police officers said they had a relationship and now they got harassing them. No, they're prostitutes, that's all. Most of the women that you see and the men, a lot of them are prostitutes for their job. They had sex for it, they did a special favor for it, they did something, because you know the police the biggest gang out there. Oh, you don't know, you know now. So when you take an oath to serve and protect, that's what it means, all of humanity. You don't get to pick and choose who you help, and you don't get to pick and choose who you harass. And that's exactly what happened to me. So really what should have happened when I told them to stop the interrogation, to stop detaining me, and to either present me with an arrest warrant or take me under arrest, they did nothing. Because in order to take you under arrest, they have to read you your Miranda rights. Yeah, everyone knows about the Miranda rights. Then on top of that, if there was a warrant, the proper law enforcement is the marshals, you see, because if you have a warrant for me out of DC police don't have jurisdiction or authority. You have to have the marshals. What you have to do is go before the judge and you get the warrant. Then it's transmitted to the United States Marshal Service, because DC is a federal jurisdiction. The marshals or FBI or a federal law enforcement officer would then have the right to pursue you across state or jurisdictional lines. Now, because DC is not a state, it's a jurisdiction. This is a distinction. You like how I did that? A distinction. Because Baltimore police, who had no business there either, because even though I was in Baltimore, Maryland, they didn't have a warrant of probable cause. They decide they're gonna send me to John Hopkins Bayview, a psych ward under a 5150 hold, despite the fact that I'm not dangerous to myself or others. I hadn't done anything. That was the second of many attempts by Carolyn Curry, Adrian Fenty, and Stephen Andrew Broadnax to discredit me, because they're all human traffickers. And so let me explain. Prior to this happening on